I think we should look at what the nonprofit idea of a corporation really means. It means there's no stockholders or owners that get a profit. But profit can be taken out in different ways. Profit can be taken out in salaries. Yeah. As for instance, a CEO that gets $1.5 million, there's a profit coming out. And profit can also be taken out with, in the contracting, you can hire a friend to do a job for the hospital and pay them too much, and there's a profit going out.
Yep. Yeah, as a matter of fact, when Bernie Sanders was the mayor of Burlington, he sent Fletcher Allen a rather hefty property tax bill under the idea that they weren't truly non-for-profit and therefore shouldn't be tax exempt. He didn't get that bill remitted, but did generate some controversy and sort of raise awareness on that issue. To your point exactly. That was 30 years ago. So this is not a new problem. But, I think of all of these issues we've talked about today, healthcare is the one I feel the most optimistic about. We are seemingly turning a corner and recognizing that the current system is completely broken, that we can't afford what we're paying for today. It's ludicrous to tolerate so many under and uninsured people, and that it just damages us as a whole. Yeah, I might have good health insurance, and maybe you have health insurance, and maybe we don't know, people who have personally gone through bankruptcy, although you don't have to go too far to find them. But as a whole, it's not serving our community to have this broken system, and we can do better, and I think we really are on a path to do that. There are a lot of issues that remain as challenges to get to that end point, but of all of the issues, I am pretty optimistic about that. It's been fun to be involved, and I look forward to staying involved in that because it's so vital.
For me, that's really the high point of this past legislative session, that single payer was passed and the governor signed it.
Yeah, and he signed it with relish, and it meant, it was a big ceremonial thing, and various people spoke, and towards the end he said, I got to just shout out to two P's in the crowd. Chris Pearson and Anthony Polina have been at this a long time. And I felt he didn't need to do that. It was very kind of him, and progressives have been, and Bernie for that matter, have been talking about single-payer health care since the beginning. We've been electing progressives to Montpelier for 20 years now, and since day one we've been talking about single-payer health care. So, there were a number of factors that went into getting us there, but we're a piece of that, and it feels good to be part of that history. I wish things could move a little faster sometimes, and we have bigger challenges ahead, but on this issue, I'm very proud of the role I've been able to play and other progressives ahead of me. Important stuff. And it's not only important for quality of life and the economy, but I think it's important in the model in terms of the people reclaiming public good from a broken for-profit system. I think most of us agree that it's weird that people profit when I break my leg and go to the hospital. I mean, the doctor needs to be paid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about exorbitant remuneration for the CEO or for shareholders of MVP and things like that. So I think most of us agree with that. And if we can wrestle our healthcare system out of the hands of a for-profit health industry and deliver a good healthcare to the people of Vermont, then does that mean we'll maybe be easier time to do the same thing when we look at our climate challenges, when we look at global warming? These are, to me, they're the same evil. You have intense greed brought on by large, very powerful corporate interests who are polluting our air and our lakes and our water and all of it, our food. And so one of the ways I look at healthcare is if we can demonstrate to people that we can be successful in reclaiming that for ourselves, maybe that will help us in some of these other challenges that are also very big and extremely hard and essential that we get right. And we got to get moving on that. We're late on those issues. We're late on health care, too. We've had Medicare in this country since '64. There was a big debate then to just give it to everybody. 1964. And when we started talking about it again in the 90s and more recently now, to some people they would think it's a brand new idea. We've been debating this one way or another. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, as you said, suggested it in the 30s. So it's not a new idea. It takes a long time sometimes to bring about these changes. Let's hope we can accelerate that for some of the
In
other
'64, I think it was part of Lyndon Johnson's Great Society
That's right.
program.